Today, I'm gonna show you how you can mount a GoPro onto your DJI Avata drone, DJI Avata 2, DJI FPV, and take your footage from looking like this to looking like this. All by just putting a GoPro onto your DJI drone. I'm gonna walk you through where you can find these mounts and how to get the right and proper one for you, how to actually install the GoPro mount onto your camera so it works, and then lastly, some other tips to help get your drone footage looking a lot better with the actual GoPro or whatever camera that you decide to mount onto your DJI drone. So let's get started. For this example in particular, I'm going to be using the DJI Avata 1, and I have a regular GoPro mount here. I've used this for a couple of years now, and it gets me like really amazing footage. I'm going to show you where you can actually find these mounts. I'm going to leave some links down in the description that you can check out. For this specific one, this little mount is a 3D printed mount that I got off Etsy. Etsy is just an online marketplace where people can sell their goods that they custom make, and there are a lot of DJI and just FPV related accessories on Etsy. Amazon is okay with it, but it's just like, it's nothing compared to what Etsy has. So yeah, I got this specific 3D printed GoPro mount for the DJI Avata, and it was about $8 or $9. I think with shipping and tax and everything, it came out to like $11. So really nice for something that I've literally had on my drone for years, and it just helps me elevate my footage to the next level. So this is what you want to do. You want to go to Etsy, go to Amazon, check out the links down in the description, find your specific drone that you are trying to mount the GoPro on. Look through a couple different options. You'll find a bunch of things for all the different drones. Look for something that has a bunch of really good reviews, something that's sturdy. Look for the price, the shipping, obviously. And then when you find your specific mount, just go ahead and order it, and then we'll move into the part of actually installing it. All right, when you get your GoPro mount delivered, you're going to end up with a couple pieces. So you're going to end up with the mount itself, a little 3D printed piece, very light. You're going to end up with a couple of screws potentially. Sometimes you don't. If you don't freak out. Just check out the listing of wherever you got it from. You'll kind of see the instructions of how to attach it. You'll probably get a small little Allen key in order to screw in. Sometimes the mounts, you can just simply clip them on, but I found that they kind of are a little flimsy, and if you crash, they can definitely fly off and snap. In the case of the DJI Avata specifically, there are a couple of mounting ports just on the side here that just have regular screws. So this is usually for the manufacturers when they have to like install the different modules together. So this one has a couple of screws, and then it clips on just right to the center of the frame here. So that's how we're going to install it. All right. And if you're interested in finding this exact mount that I have for the DJI Avata 1, I will leave it in the description below as well, so you can go ahead and grab that one. Really easy, and right off the bat, it's already very stable. What we gotta do here is we gotta grab the screws. Let's move this over here. We'll grab the screws, clip it in here, and then just twist and screw them in. Whoops. You want to make sure that they're pretty tight in there just so it doesn't pop out, because the micro vibrations on the drone can sometimes unscrew whatever you have in there. So just make sure it's pretty tight, and once it's good, gotta just stick it into the second one here. Okay, nice and tight in there. That's great. Just double check on this second one right here. Looking good. All right, looks good. So now we have the mount installed. It's clipped on. We have the screws mounting it in. Last but not least, what you want to do is you want to grab your camera of choice. What you want to do is you just want to stick the GoPro in here, and then just use the GoPro mount thing that you have to just tighten it in there. GoPro, if the manufacturer for these 3D printed mounts doesn't send you one, you can definitely just use the one that GoPro sends you, because they give you a bunch when you buy one of their cameras. So once that is in, now you successfully have your GoPro mounted to your DJI drone. So in order to get a successful flight out of this and get the most out of this on your drone, there's a couple things that I need to run you through. So if you've taken your drone license, or if you haven't yet, one of the most important things that you should probably know is the center of gravity for your drone. So the center of gravity refers to where the weight is dispersed. Specifically for quadcopters, so for drones, you want to make sure the weight is as evenly distributed in the center as possible, because if it's tilted off to, let's say, too much to the front or too much to the back, then what can happen is motors start to compensate for the weight. For example, let's say this camera is actually mounted right at the back here and is just shooting behind the drone. What's going to happen is that in order to keep this weight up and keep the drone leveled, what's going to happen is that these motors and these propellers right here are going to be working overtime, and they have the big possibility of overheating because they have to compensate for so much weight. And same thing goes for if you're mounting the camera right to the front of your drone, it's going to make it front heavy. Therefore, the other propellers have to work a lot harder in order to keep it level. What you want to do is you want to mount it as close as possible to the center of gravity. Now, the center of gravity is really, really simple to pinpoint. It's just the center of the drone and then right in between the propellers. So imagine just the most center section of your drone. This is pretty good. It's mounted as far as it kind of possibly can. If you're flying very, very slow, your camera is probably going to be mounted like this, just 90 degrees. Especially if you're flying really, really slow, just doing some sort of slow fly through, this is perfect. But if you want to be flying a lot faster, then you're going to have to tilt your camera back like 30 degrees if you're going really fast, 15 if you're going mid fast. It's going to obviously depend on if you're doing like a building dive or like a mountain dive or something, then you're going to probably want to tilt it back like a good amount. The GoPro FOV is really, really wide, so that's a good thing. But yeah, it just depends on your flying style and how you should mount it. Now that you have everything mounted, your GoPro's on there, I want to touch on some little tips and tricks that you might need in addition to your GoPro to get that creamy, cinematic, beautiful footage that you're probably looking for. So yeah, let's jump into that. What are some things that you need to keep in mind in order to get the maximum, the best quality footage that you can possibly want, the most cinematic, the most epic footage that you could possibly want to make your footage actually look just like unreal? This is what you need. These are ND filters for your GoPro. Super crucial. These are just for the GoPro 9s. These are really, really simple to install. You just twist, pop, and then whatever ND filter you need, you just twist and lock, and there you go. And this is going to help elevate your footage by so much. ND filters are so crucial. You know, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a videographer, you already know this, but ND filters are super crucial. And this is the same for your drone. You can pick these up for literally $20, $30, $40, depending on which brand you go with. And you'll get a variety of different ND filters. Just make sure that you have enough for whatever type of environment you're shooting at and whatever camera settings you have. But I find ND8s, ND16s are really good. I rarely find myself going into like ND64 or anything like that. But yeah, this is going to level up your footage like nothing else and give you that amazing GoPro quality on your DJI FPV drone. I'll leave a few links in the description for these guys so you can pick them up. And if you just want to search up whatever GoPro or whatever camera you're putting on an ND filter, you'll be able to find these no problem. Just a couple more things to keep in mind when you are flying your newly mounted GoPro camera onto your DJI FPV drone is the actual controls itself. So what's going to happen? First of all, the battery life is going to be reduced by, I wouldn't say more than like 30%, but you definitely have to keep that in mind. If you're used to flying long distances or you're used to flying, you know, the full 10 minutes usually on these drones, then it's probably going to be reduced to more like 6-7 minutes. So you're going to have to be quick with getting the footage that you need. And then second of all is the actual controls itself. When you're flying, you're going, especially in acro mode, you're going to feel the weight. You're going to have to pitch up a lot sooner. You're going to have to be careful with the angles and the drops that you go in, and especially in like tight spaces. If you're like maybe in like a tight space in the wind corridor, the wind corridor might shake the drone a little bit as it tries to stabilize. And with the extra weight, it's very, very top heavy. So it can definitely just pitch off to the side and completely flip over. It's happened to me a couple of times. So you just got to be more careful now that you have more weight on your drone and that it's not fully centered and it's not flat. So obviously the smaller the camera, the lighter the camera, the better. But obviously that comes with trade-offs like battery life, you know, how good the quality of the camera is. So yeah, that's just a couple things to keep in mind. If you enjoyed this video, check out 5 of my favorite DJI FPV accessories that I use with my camera kit. And with that being said, check me out on Instagram, subscribe here on YouTube, leave a comment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.